Hello! Something very different from trains, but working on the same place as ever. There were times when things were made to last. My coffee, it won't last long. But one of these things that were made to last are the Philips hand mixers. They can probably reach 30 years of age. Easily. And why not more? But they need a little bit of love. Our own is a little bit older model, which is really chunky and square. This has already some nice round features, but probably the inside is almost the same. But what you can hear immediately what the problem is. This is a lack of lubrication. And the best one to use is normal Vaseline. Why? Because this is stuff that you can also use on your lips and your skin and so anything that is in this machine and that we apply, it may fly out during the first few hours of use. You want to have something that is safe to put on your lips, and Vaseline you can. And it is very long lasting, so it will actually serve our purpose as lubrication. Of course, there's all kinds of oils. I have here universal handy oil from, I think it's Shell, yes. It would probably also work, but oils will not stay. First thing, make 100% sure you're unplugged before you open. And then it's just dig in. 4 screws on the bottom. Every now and then I have displaced some tools. I wonder why that happens. Maybe because I have always many projects on the road. Sometimes I envy those who are a little bit more organized than I am, but on the other hand, it's really fun to do a million things. Okay, here we are. The bottom gets clean off, and here you can immediately see that some kind of grease has been thrown out, and it is tough as can be. This is, it feels more like badly cured epoxy glue. This is not doing anything anymore. Oops, well, that works fine. Something fell on the floor also, but that doesn't matter. I know exactly how this used to be mounted. Let's see if there's any difference with the old model. Not really. This is pushed by a spring into the top to stay in position. This one stands next to it and has this one spring behind it. Very clean from the inside, no problems there. Commutator, very nice. I don't even bother to do anything about that. I think the bearings are a bit different from my older model. Okay, I have to watch that I don't lose this plastic or rubber things here that carry the unit. So they were a bit more open, so I don't think the problem is there, because I can see that this is completely toughened out. But let me use some oil for the engine bearings, because it's so thin that there's no way you can get any, and so small opening that you can't get any grease inside there. That went a little bit too much, so I'll just have to test run it for a while to make sure nothing flies out anymore. And that will be done without the covers on, so that I can clean it up afterwards and then everything is neat and tidy. So the problem is here, shall I get rid of the old grease? Yes, you would say, but on the other hand, you know, there's not much anymore on the surfaces. So the most important thing is get the new one in it. Maybe this old stuff, it fills already up some areas here at the end where the grease would be thrown out by the gear when it is turning. It will try to throw out the grease in one direction, and having this old toughened grease in position may actually help to keep the new Vaseline in place. Let's hope I didn't throw a bolt away here. Use a clean finger because somebody else uses this for their lips during the very dry Finnish winter. Okay, I put a little bit on and then manually turn for about an 1/8 or a 1/6 of a turn. Add something more. Keep turning the same direction. What I notice also is that the same grease is used here where the holders are mounted in this thing. So maybe I need to take off this screw, which I have never done for my personal older one. Maybe I have to take this one off and make sure that there's new grease also on the bearing and not only on the gear. Now I think I have a total that's already enough, so I could just start spreading it here. But I'm not happy with this grease here, and that's a place I cannot push anything in from the side or so, so I have to open this bolt. It's not very tight actually, very easy. Now I'm not 100% sure, are these completely symmetrical? Probably they are. Better to be sure and do one at a time so you don't mix them up. And even if they were symmetrical, it's the same as with combustion engines. Try to mount things back at exactly the place where they were, because wear and tear over the years may on one bearing have changed the outer scale of the bearing and on the other the inner, and if you or things are not 100% lined up and it wears to make the most perfect fit possible, and if you exchange them then it will fit worse than before. One may be very tight and the other very loose, so try to stick to what you had. Well, and that's pretty much it. So now I'm going to switch it on the lowest speed, put it loosely into the mounting piece with these 4 rubbers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 rubbers. Lowest speed. Yep. And then make sure it doesn't fall off the table, so keep it somewhere and switch on. Let me bring this closer to you. You can see that you hear it starts running faster and faster, so the grease is finding its place. And this is as beautiful a sound as you can ever get out of these things. That's it. But keep your hand off the electrics until it is disconnected. Now I put it at full speed. On by. There was a little bit sparking, but that stopped immediately as it was on full speed. This is perfect, and it will work again for some 20 years to come or so. There's a little opening here that you can fix the power wire. I don't think it actually does very much. For instance, there's nothing here to push it down, so it could jump out from there, but I mean, the moving parts are far away enough. No problems there. Okay. And then the only thing you have to remember is put on this spring and check whether this was forward or rearward this way. And I think this is the correct direction. You maybe get one for your wedding or engagement present. And after that, you'll never need another. These things are almost eternal. It feels correct. Put in the screws. I like to screw the front first because that's where the spring is. Notice I didn't put any grease here because they're running free. There's no bearing between plastic and plastic. That was the thing, the metal bracket that I took away. That takes care of the whole thing. Alright, and 2 more screws. And then let it run for a prolonged time. During the short run I didn't even see oil flying out, so I don't think we actually have a problem with getting dirty. If it gets dirty, you will see it here from the air exhausts. Right. Compare that to the previous sound. Okay, let it run. This was a nice little maintenance project.